Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're continuing with the next part of this epic time chamber series. My name is Ash. Please, for me, drop a like, join the Patreon, and subscribe to the page. Also, leave your comments down below. With that, let's begin.
Cross my heart and hope to die. Welcome to my dark side.
The battlefield trembled, reality itself quivering under the clash of divine destinies. Wukong's piercing eyes locked onto the warrior standing before him. His chest rose and fell slowly, but his mind raced as the weight of the Saiyan's presence poured over him. That aura, no, that colossal force wasn't just energy. It was existence itself bending. He knew immediately who it was. Vegeta. The Monkey King's lips curled into a smirk, sharp and knowing. To think, these boys lost everything once. Their strength, their pride, even their very lives were ripped away without mercy. And yet, he tilted his head, balancing effortlessly atop his golden staff, as if he were perched above heaven itself. His voice softened, though awe carried beneath his words. Here they are, clawing their way back, rebuilding it all in the blink of eternity. He spun the golden staff in his hand, planting it firm beneath his feet. From above, he gazed down on the Saiyan like a divine patriarch, watching his bloodline rise from the ashes. "All right then, my descendants," he declared, his grin widening into something dangerous. "Show me what you forged this time." Pray history doesn't repeat itself, the way it did when Zeno's hand erased you before. But Vegeta only smiled, a quiet, calm smile that spoke more than words. And then his aura erupted. Silver light exploded around him, searing the battlefield like a newborn star. Steam hissed from his skin, and waves of unbearable heat poured outward, bending the horizon itself. Space cracked like shattered glass. Dimensions tore open like paper curtains, exposing galaxies twisting beyond the veil. Existence itself seemed to shudder beneath the scope of his being. The gods of destruction froze, their divine confidence faltering for the first time in eons. Belmod, god of destruction of universe. 11 staggered back, his painted face twisting in shock. This is immortal? Impossible. This weight, this pressure, it rivals us. His voice cracked, trembling with disbelief. Others whispered harshly among themselves, fear leaking into every tone. How could mortals reach this height so quickly? This defies the order of everything. Even the angels, serene and untouchable for all of time, found their calm broken, their eyes narrowing with unease. For Vegeta's aura wasn't merely the energy of a warrior, it was eternal, vast, something only the Omni King himself could radiate. And this wasn't even his peak. The realization hit like cold iron in the chest of every god present. Above them, the three kings of everything leaned forward on their radiant thrones. Their small forms shimmered, eyes sparkling with childlike wonder. They weren't watching just a battle. To them, this was destiny itself. A fight that would carve itself into the marrow of history, one that could collapse dimensions, unravel universes, and reforge the laws of creation. Yet far away, in the dim, echoing halls of Zeno's palace, a figure hung in silence. Shackled in divine chains, his body broken, his skin bruised and bloodied, he looked like a martyr nailed to a cosmic cross. His frame swayed just behind Zeno's radiant throne. In that moment, Beerus's golden eyes snapped open. His chest heaved as the tidal wave of energy coursed through him like lightning, burning every nerve. He knew this key. This power, Beerus whispered, his voice trembling. His ears twitched, his fangs bared. It feels like Goku? No. Vegeta? Wait, it carries Gohan's spirit too. And Broly? But no. His claws dug into his palms. He growled low, his body trembling. It's all of them. Every Saiyan I've fought, trained, or feared. They've all become one. His chest tightened, his eyes widening in horror as the truth hit him like a blade. Fusion! They've fused together! but doubt gnawed at him, crushing his certainty. His voice cracked, wild with desperation. No, Gogeta was strong, but never this strong. Not even close. This surpasses angels. It shouldn't be possible. His roar shook the chamber. Murno! Murno! His chains rattled as he thrashed. I know you hear me. I am still your god. Answer me! The air rippled, and then, from the silence, a figure stepped forth as if he had always been there. The supreme angel, Murno. His presence carried no weight, no fury, only an eternal calm that bent the world around him. You called, my lord, Murno said softly. His voice carried no emotion, only timelessness. Beerus's fangs bared as he snarled, eyes blazing. What took you so long? No, forget it. Just tell me, what's happening? Who dares fight with power that shakes creation itself? The fight of the century, Murno replied evenly, folding his hands in front of him. Grand Zeno himself prepares to face the Saiyans you once swore to protect, the ones who were disgraced, humiliated, and erased. Beerus's throat tightened. The words cut deep, slicing away his composure. Show me. I don't care how. Just show me. Murno lowered his gaze only slightly, then tapped his staff against the floor. As you wish. But understand, what you're about to see is no simple vision. To peer into that battlefield requires connection to every fragment. Beerus snapped, jerking against his chains. Fragments? Speak plainly. Unmoved, Murno continued. You already know, Lord Beerus. The angels of the multiverse are not true beings. They are fragments of the Grand Priest. To pierce into the second dimension, I must call upon them all. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. Then Murno's staff pulsed with blinding light. Energy weaved into a sphere, slowly expanding until it revealed a vision within. The battlefield came alive before their eyes, every detail sharp and clear. Beerus's jaw slackened. His chest rose sharply as he beheld the sight. Gods of destruction lined the field. Every angel stood at attention, and among them his own brother Champa. Above them sat three beings he did not know, their thrones glowing with the radiance of living stars. And then, his gaze fell upon Zeno. His heart sank. Fear tore at him like claws. But then, his eyes locked onto the Saiyan below. That isn't Gogeta, Beerus roared, the echo of his fury shaking the chamber. Murno's calm voice slipped in, smooth as glass. Well, yes and no. You see, Gohan and Broly fused first, becoming Brohan. At the same time, Goku and Vegeta performed the fusion dance, birthing Gogeta, and then he raised a hand as if explaining a simple trick of light. Those two fusions combined once more, this time with Patara earrings. The result is the being you see before you. He calls himself Brogito. Beerus's jaw hung open, his throat tight, as his entire body shook against the divine chains. His voice cracked with raw disbelief. A triple fusion? Is such a thing even possible? Murno's calm gaze never wavered, though his eyes glowed faintly with quiet power. Possible or not, it has happened. Brogito now stands before the Omni King himself. Though some might claim he has ascended to that same throne in name, the truth of his strength will be revealed only in this battle. Beerus's humiliation, his pain, his chains, all of it vanished in that moment. His golden eyes burned with primal focus, locked entirely on the shimmering vision inside Murno's staff. And within the second dimension, the moment finally came. Brogito moved first. The fused warrior's form vanished, his speed surpassing everything mortal senses could comprehend. No velocity, no measurement could define it. He was beyond numbers, beyond light itself. His dust trailed behind like a comet as he launched forward, spinning his body for maximum torque. A world-shattering punch tore through the void. His face was carved in steel. No grin, no hesitation, only seriousness. Boom! The collision detonated like the birth of a star. The entire second dimension screamed as his aura spread outward, pouring across countless universes like a tidal wave. The void itself quivered. As the view pulled back, the truth was revealed. Vegeta's massive fist was caught, stopped clean in the palm of Zeno's tiny hand. The force of their clash ripped the skies and ruptured the void beneath their feet. Back-to-back shockwaves burst across the realm, forcing every god of destruction and angel to shield themselves. They couldn't believe their eyes. Even the angels, beings designed to show no emotion, were visibly shaken. Vegeta's eyes widened as she flung her arm outward, shielding Champa from the collapsing shockwave. Her expression cracked with disbelief. "But Zeno?" Zeno smiled. That smile only deepened as Vegeta unleashed countless rapid strikes. His body blurred as he drove forward with relentless precision. The two streaked across the sky, trading blows faster than thought. In less than a millisecond, over 1,000 strikes had been exchanged, each one with enough force to annihilate creation. Zeno dodged, weaving through Vegeta's fury with childlike calm. Yet slowly, that innocent smile slipped. The air grew heavier, his movements sharper. For Vegeta was no longer holding back. His fists blurred beyond vision, each strike landing faster than the last, his power climbing with every blow. And then it happened. A fist broke through. Vegeta's knuckles slammed against Zeno's small face, sending the Omni King crashing down to the planet's surface below. The void trembled as the impact tore a crater into existence. Vegeta refused to let up. His body glowed as he thrust both hands skyward. "Rapid Ki barrage!" Energy flared and split into a storm of countless blasts, raining down like stars upon the surface where Zeno lay. Each blast cracked with the force of a collapsing sun. Boom, boom, boom. The battlefield became a sea of explosions, but none touched Zeno. The Omni King rose through the storm of fire like a ghost, his body weaving effortlessly between the blasts. His speed was monstrous, so far beyond even the fused Saiyan that it bent reality. Slowly, calmly, he levitated upward, drawing closer and closer to Vegeta, dodging every last explosion with ease. Vegeta's teeth clenched. He poured more energy into his blasts, his aura flaring brighter, shaking entire galaxies through the second dimension. Yet still, Zeno remained untouched. Then, suddenly, he was there. So close Vegeta had to leap backward, his instincts screaming at him that his assault was useless. But it was too late. The instant he pulled back, Zeno was already behind him. "What the?" Vegeta gasped, eyes wide. And then came the strike. Zeno's small palm pressed against the Saiyan's chest. Boom! The shockwave ripped outward with impossible force. Vegeta's body shot backward like a comet, blazing through the second dimension before crashing into the distant ground. The sound cracked through the void, shattering the monochrome skies as if reality itself protested. High above, Zeno hovered with one hand still raised. Wisps of energy curled from his palm. His childlike face remained calm, but his eyes gleamed with something colder, regal, untouchable, absolute. Dust and cosmic debris billowed upward from the colossal crater below. The gathered gods of destruction gasped, their eyes wide. Even their divine shields shook from the aftershock. Vegeta had driven Zeno on the defensive with his impossible storm of attacks, but with a single strike, the Omni King had shifted the tide. The Grand Priest's lips parted. For once, the serene angel betrayed his composure. "That impact," he murmured, eyes narrowing. Even I barely saw it. Vados lowered her arm slowly, her breath uneven as she shielded Champa. Her usually elegant face showed rare shock. Champa himself had gone pale, his mouth open as if he'd forgotten how to breathe. Sidra clenched his hands together anxiously. Belmod of Universe. 11 whispered, his voice shaking. He actually hit him." One blow. The deities muttered amongst themselves, horrified. None of them had ever seen Zeno fight, not truly. And now, the sight of him exerting effort, delivering a strike with real force, left them shaken to their very cores. In the radiant viewing booth above, 3 small figures leaned forward on shining thrones. Zeno's siblings, the other kings of everything. They usually smiled without care, yet even their eternal expressions wavered as Vegeta's body lay in the crater. Zephyr clapped his hands gleefully, feet kicking in delight. "Wow, so strong!" he squealed, eyes sparkling. Zarathos giggled beside him, though a flicker of unease glinted behind his laughter. Zyralian leaned forward, his tone calm but edged. "Father, you're a little too excited." "Huh?" "Surprised you aren't," Zephyr chirped, his grin unbroken. "The fight's just getting started." He tilted his head curiously. "Surely you don't think the Saiyan is finished from such an attack?" The other two fell quiet, their gazes drawn back toward the battlefield below. Far away in the endless silence of Zeno's palace, 2 golden eyes flared wide. Beerus, the god of destruction of Universe 7, writhed in his restraints. The divine chains clinked against each other, each movement sending sparks of godly energy into the air. Suspended just behind the Omni King's radiant throne, he had felt it, the tremor that rattled through his bones when Zeno's palm strike landed flush against Vegeta's chest. The vision sphere conjured by Murno shimmered in front of him, replaying the impossible exchange. Beerus's ears twitched, his heart pounding so loudly it nearly drowned out his own thoughts. "Vegeta!" Beerus hissed through clenched fangs. His chest heaved with every breath, his body tensed against the chains. And then, to his own surprise, he realized something. He was rooting for him, rooting for the fused Saiyan, this being born of those reckless warriors he once despised. The very same beings he had once set out to kill. The same bloodline he had blamed for Whis' death. And yet now... "Get up!" Beerus growled under his breath, his voice low but urgent. He leaned forward as far as the restraints would allow. "Come on, you brats! You've come too far to die here. Get up!" At his side, Murno floated in calm silence. The Supreme Angel's silver-blue aura bathed him in unearthly light, reflecting across his pristine features. His face was unreadable, though a glimmer faintly lit his eyes as he studied the vision sphere. "That strike," Murno said softly, his voice like the whisper of eternity, was approximately 30% of Grand Zeno's full strength. His hands folded behind his back, posture as calm as ever. If Vegeta cannot withstand even that, then this battle will not last much longer. The words froze the chamber with their casual finality. Meanwhile, in the void of the second dimension, the battlefield began to reveal its scars. The dust lifted, the crater sprawling across endless miles of blackened ground. Fractures ran like glowing veins across the surface, spilling tiny motes of starlight into the void. Shattered galaxies, broken constellations, the remains of universes crushed by that single blow, seeping through reality itself before the wounds stitched closed. And then, movement. From the depths of the crater, a gloved hand burst free, gripping the cracked earth. Another followed. Slowly, Vegeta rose. Dust rolled down his shoulders as he shoved a slab of broken reality aside. He stood tall, his silver aura flickering faintly, his chest rising steady. A thin trickle of golden blood ran from the corner of his mouth. He wiped it away with the back of his hand, his head bowed so his spiky hair shadowed his eyes. The silence was suffocating. Above him, Zeno floated. His small body glowed against the fractured sky, his eyes sharp and curious. His childlike voice chimed through the void. He tilted his head as though regarding a strange toy. "I expected you to stay down longer." Vegeta lifted his head, his eyes locked on Zeno's, glowing with fierce resolve. Slowly, deliberately, a grin spread across his face. His lips curled back to reveal one sharpened canine, a feral, unshakable smirk. "Not bad," he said, his deep-fused voice resonating across the battlefield. It carried Goku's unyielding confidence, Vegeta's royal pride, Gohan's steady calm, and Broly's primal fury, all speaking as one. That actually hurt, a little. He pounded once on his chest where Zeno's palm had struck. Silver energy rippled outward from the point of impact, dancing across his torso before fading. "You've got some real power, Your Majesty." On the sidelines, Wukong sat atop his staff, his golden eyes gleaming with amusement. He had been still until now, but the sight of Vegeta's defiance tugged a grin across his face. "That cursed ability," Wukong muttered under his breath, his voice a mix of disdain and fascination. "I never liked it. An ability that endlessly absorbs divine energy without limit. For most wielders, the flaw is obvious. There's only so much power a body can contain before it shatters." His grin sharpened, his tail flicking. But in the hands of a Saiyan? "Ah!" The Monkey King laughed aloud, his booming voice echoing across the void. "Now I'm interested." He rose to his feet atop the staff and cupped his hands around his mouth. "Vegeta, show me the full extent of your strength." For the first time, Zeno's expression faltered. He cast a sidelong glance toward Wukong. "Be quiet, monkey man," Zeno said simply, his tone light but carrying ancient command. "Sit still." Watch, without sparing him further attention, the Omni King turned back toward Vegeta. But Wukong's golden fur bristled, his hands clenched around the staff, his body trembling with barely checked rage. "How dare you!" he snarled, rising as if ready to leap into the fray. Before he could act, a sudden laugh cut through the void. "Vegeta." The sound was bold, fearless, a laugh that rang like a challenge, breaking the tension. Wukong froze mid-step. He stared at the Saiyan fusion, then slowly relaxed, lowering himself back onto his staff. His lips curled into a half-smirk, half-snarl. "Fine," he muttered. "If the brat fails, my chance will come." Vegeta's laughter continued, shaking the void. "Boring?" he shouted up at Zeno. "Yeah, I'd hate to disappoint." He crouched, boots grinding into the fractured surface. Silver-white tendrils of aura spiraled around him, gathering denser and denser until his body glowed like a newborn star. "We're just getting started." Boom! He launched himself skyward in a flash of light, the void trembling beneath the acceleration. One instant he was grounded, the next he was before Zeno, his fist cloaked in burning silver energy. The punch streaked toward Zeno's face. The Omni King's eyes glinted, his small form blurring into streaks of multicolored light. He tilted aside at the last possible moment, letting the blow carve through empty space. But Vegeta never stopped moving. He flickered after Zeno, appearing and vanishing in rapid bursts as his fists and feet struck in endless succession. Each strike was a world-ending blow, yet Zeno evaded them all, his tiny frame darting through the storm like a phantom. To the gods and angels watching, the battlefield had dissolved into chaos. The two combatants were no longer bodies. They were streaks of raw power colliding in midair, flashes of light rupturing the void. Even the most refined senses struggled to keep pace. Margarita's eyes narrowed, her voice hushed with disbelief. "Even for us, it's almost too fast." Vados turned, her usually calm features tense as she shielded Champa once again. She exchanged a sharp glance with Margarita, silently acknowledging the truth. Few, if any, among them could truly comprehend the speed of this battle. High above, Raiko and Kairu, the twin guards of Zeno, stood with their arms folded, their eyes narrowed. Their silence was heavy, their gazes fixed with unblinking intensity on the Saiyan fusion who dared to push their master this far. Fists and feet clashed with the power to tear worlds apart. Each collision sent ripples racing across the void, the impact waves twisting into swirling vortices that vanished into the dark abyss of the second dimension. Zeno's tiny figure flowed effortlessly around Vegeta's relentless barrage, dodging and deflecting punches that could wipe galaxies clean and kicks that bent the very laws of space-time. His childlike face betrayed no strain, only focus and uncanny grace. For all his innocent demeanor, the Omni King's mastery in combat was undeniable. Every motion was smooth, efficient, and impossibly fast, like the universe itself was bending to his rhythm. Yet Vegeta pressed harder. His grin had vanished, replaced by grit and fierce determination. This wasn't just a fight, it was a war of limits, a duel of speed and skill that creation itself had never witnessed. Crack! Zeno's foot lashed out, a high kick meant to snap Vegeta's neck. The fused warrior blocked with his forearm, and the collision thundered like a collapsing star. The shockwave alone flattened the crater below, scattering shards of broken reality upward as if existence itself had shattered like glass. Zeno spun gracefully backward, twirling through the air. For the first time, excitement colored his face. He clapped his tiny hands together and let out a delighted laugh. Good, very good. With a flick of his wrist, a prismatic orb of energy appeared above his palm, swirling with impossible colors. Its very presence shook the void realm, as though the second dimension itself feared what it contained. Then, without warning, Zeno hurled it. The orb expanded in mid-flight, swelling from a pebble to a disk larger than a planet, spinning with cosmic force. Its edges shimmered with annihilation. Everything behind it vanished, erased as though it had never been. This was not just Kai, it was authority, Zeno's power to reduce anything to nothing. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. His instincts screamed. No time to charge, only act. Both hands thrust forward, fingers splayed. A roaring beam surged from his palms, spiraling purple and silver, twining around each other like twin dragons. Big Bang Destruction Kamehameha! The beam collided head-on with the disc. Boom! The impact detonated in a blinding explosion. The second dimension quaked, the void skies tearing as light and darkness erupted together. For a heartbeat, nothing could be seen but a massive sphere of blinding white. Shockwaves ripped across the stands. Deities cried out in alarm. Gods of destruction braced together, their auras flaring as the gale force winds tore at them. Kaioshin shrieked, some shielding their eyes, others cowering behind their destruction gods. Even the three kings of everything raised their small arms to shield their faces from the glare. When at last the light subsided, a gaping wound scarred the void below. A smoking chasm yawned across the battlefield, as if a piece of existence itself had been scooped out and erased. Floating above its center, Vegeta and Zeno remained, both standing, both unharmed. The Omni King tilted his head. A faint smile lingered, but his eyes gleamed with intrigue. You canceled it out, he noted softly, watching the last wisps of energy fizzle away between them. Vegeta exhaled, lowering his steaming hands. Sparks of residual ki crackled across his palms before fading. I've picked up a trick or two, he said with a smirk, his tone light despite the battlefield's devastation. His voice deepened, carrying a razor edge of memory. But things won't go like last time. Back then, you completely overpowered us. We were nothing to you, just children playing at gods, and our inexperience cost us our lives. His chin lifted, silver eyes blazing. But now, his aura flared brighter, wrapping him in a storm of silver fire. If that's how you want to play, Your Majesty, then how about this? He vanished. Zeno's bright eyes darted. Vegeta's energy signature flooded the battlefield from every direction at once. Suddenly, dozens of afterimages flickered into being, surrounding the Omni King. Each phantom charged mid-strike, punches, kicks, knees, elbows, closing in from every side. Zeno blinked, his expression tightening for the first time. The illusions moved with such speed that time lagged, their echoes overlapping. Vegeta's voice echoed from every direction at once. Where are you looking? Here! The images shouted in unison, their voices a chorus of defiance. Zeno's lips pressed into a thin line. His irritation flickered like a shadow across his face. With a sharp exhale, he thrust out his hands, swiping at the mirages. One by one, they evaporated into mist under his strikes, only to be instantly replaced by more closing in. The true Vegeta stayed hidden, his ki carefully suppressed beneath the cacophony of clones. This was not just Saiyan ferocity, it was strategy, misdirection, a tactic drawn from shinobi arts, fused with Saiyan instinct. And then, the moment came. Above him, upside down in midair, the real Vegeta appeared. His legs spread wide for balance, his hands weaving intricate patterns so fast they blurred. Trails of glowing energy spiraled around his fingers like calligraphy written on reality. "Try this on!" Vegeta roared. From his fingertips erupted sizzling tendrils of ki, threads of pure light that cracked like whips. They shot downward in an instant, wrapping around Xeno's arms and legs. The Omni King's eyes went wide. His small form jerked as the threads cinched tight, glowing electric blue. Every twitch made them constrict harder, as though alive, animated by the Saiyan's indomitable will. The battlefield gasped as one. He's restrained the Omni King?" A supreme Kaioshin cried, his voice breaking. On the sidelines, Liquir bared his sharp teeth in disbelief. "Impossible!" Margarita leaned forward, her staff trembling. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the threads. "Incredible," she whispered, astonished. "He's manipulating his ki into living energy threads." A technique bordering on creation itself. She turned to the others, her voice rising. "The Saiyans had nothing like this when they faced us before. In death, they've evolved beyond anything we could have foreseen." Around her, the angels nodded grimly, their silence confirmation enough. They all knew, the warriors who once perished had returned carrying power beyond comprehension. And that's it for today's episode, guys. If you watched to the end, then that could be an indication that you enjoy the series. So please leave a like on the video. Thank you and take care.